Trn Bax Pro. First of all, I don't think you should buy this set. It's good. And so some songs come on, you go, oh, this is pretty good. Yeah, this is not bad at all. And then another song will come on and you go, this is horrible. I got to take them out of my ears. Hello again. Today's video will be on the Trn Bax Pro. Now, before I begin, let me just clear up some things. This unit was provided to our group from Trn directly. And while a lot of people say in my videos I'm super enthusiastic and hyped up and positive, well, it's because I love gear. I love listening to music, and I love listening to music through different IAMs. So I find joy in doing that and sharing those impressions with you. So, and our group has picked quite a few winners lately. So the video has been positive, and I am guilty probably of showing my emotions on my sleeve, maybe more than some other reviewers do. But that's just me, and I'm not going to apologize for it because that is who I am. So let me also state that you don't see a lot of negative reviews. And there's probably one great reason more than anything other than worrying about or offending a manufacturer or a group or a supplier. For me, that's secondary. For me, it's time, right? I mean, there's so much. I've got so much stuff our group has shared between all of us, the four of us, that there's a lot of stuff. And in order to do it, you need time. And do you want to waste your time on something that isn't great or should be out on the market? And then I gave it some mindful thought. And I think one of the reasons why I started this, and I felt the same as some of those other comments, like, oh, well, there's just a lot of hype going on these, and I'm tired of it. And so I did what I was told, that if I didn't like what I saw, then do it yourself and be better. So that's how this channel came to be. Now, the big reason for me, again, is just the time. But on the other side of things, it's also kind of important to maybe showcase something that you shouldn't buy. And this is that video today. So for all those who, say that you shouldn't piss off your supplier or you don't want to put a negative comment out there, well, I think what this video is more directed towards is Trn, but I already think they know what happened with this set. And I'm not the first person in the community to speak up, and I came back and I said, you know what, I'm going to give this thing a fair shake and do it that way. So sorry if this intro is a bit long. I just wanted to explain that. If anything, this video goes out to Trn, and hopefully you can improve upon what I'm about to say to you. So here we go. That being said, not all suppliers, manufacturers, and distributors are positive to criticism. When I put out my KZ PR3 review, I got some feedback on how poorly I was doing and how badly my review was reflecting on the thing. So it's not on me, man. That's on you. Anyway, I'm going to try and be as politically correct as I possibly can. Let's go over some about it, first of all, because it had massive potential. Trn's top of the line flagship, it's $410 US. So you are playing with the big boys. That being said, you also came to the table with a nice looking offering, and it looked the part, absolutely 100%. From the onyx black modular 16 core cable to the aluminum build and shells. I mean, I just kind of love the industrial design. Let's take off that Juno SNS tip, which I'll get into later. And inside of this houses some pretty impressive specs. I mean, there's one 10mm beryllium coated dynamic driver, one of my favorites typically, for the fast, speedy bass. There's 2 Knolls, so they didn't cheap out on no-name stuff. There's 2 Knolls, 29689. Well, there's one of those for mids, and there's one of, again, I've said this before in other videos, the Knolls 33518 is my all-time favorite balanced armature for highs. And inside of here, there's also 2 Sonyan EST. So that should be a recipe for success right there. I have seen a configuration, not quite like this, but in a Hita's MS5, where they had quality drivers, but terrible tuning. Number 2. It has tuning switches, and I'll get into that just in a little bit. I'm not going to make this a long one because if you've already stopped watching, I don't blame you. The tuning switches, I can't figure out what the middle one does at all. Let's go with the 3 glaring problems that I know. So, first off, the shell is large. And thick. Like if I were to compare this to MT4, that's it. Yeah. I mean, well, not quite fair in the fact that, you know, it's got to be a 2/3 larger. That isn't such a big deal. I mean, I could fit large shells in my ear, no problem. It's this nozzle angle, and it's the same thing I said with the KZ PR3. And there's no excuse for having a flagship that isn't going to be properly engineered, first of all. If you're not sure exactly what I mean, also watch the Plunge Audio Unity, and you'll understand more about inner ear workings and fitment. And that I'm bringing this more to attention more and more because I think manufacturers need to wake up and be better, right? So not only is the size big, it doesn't have the wings that you typically have on their other IMs, which work so well to hold it into your ear. So there's this big shape, and the nozzle is angled in the wrong direction again. So when it goes into your ear, it's barely there, and it's not just my ears, it's the issue, it's the nozzle angle. I mean, where it should go in, up, and angled in, it goes in and up, but this way, and so it's hitting against your, and it doesn't, the angle and the size of the shell doesn't make it where you can get it in. No matter what tips I've tried, small, big, medium, large, I can get it to go in my ear, but it's not comfortable and it's not sitting at the right angle. If it was sitting at the right angle, it'd be pushed down like this so the nozzle could go up into your ear canal. And that's going to affect the sound for me and everyone else in the planet, unless you have massive ears and you can somehow use a different tip to it would still be at the wrong angle, bottom line. Second, why QDC? Like every time I see a QDC on an IM, I think cheap. And that's okay for lesser expensive IMs, but not on a plus $400 IM. I'm sorry. No. And okay, you could say, like I asked SimGot, on their EM6L. I should pull it up. I should find it here. That I said, why did you put a QDC on this one? And then they came back with an honest answer. And the honest answer was, well, we made it as small as we possibly could. I think that one's out on tour. And we didn't have the room. Okay, legit, totally get it. This shell is massive. I mean, it's not housing that many drivers. It's not 14 drivers that you couldn't do that with. So it looks and feels cheap. To knock that all off as well, you put the cable on here, and the QDC with this size and shape of shell, the QDC is very, very tight, right? Now you can just take a heat gun and bend this, so on a $400 set, should you have to? Again, I'm going with the no on that one. So not only, if it was at the right angle and shaped correctly, this is what would happen to the cable, right? It doesn't get a chance to go around your ears. So even if you recurve this thing, you can see that it's still not at the right angle. And you see a couple other IMs now that they're actually like 7 Hertz is doing that, where they're angling where the 2-pin goes in. Totally makes sense because they kind of recognize that as well. Also, this is a nice to their lineup in the modular cables. Again, I love their modular cables. But this one is a tangly bit of a mess. And again, I don't think it should be on the flagship IM. Not if you're asking this much money. In order to make this work properly, you need a 2-pin to go in to give it, more room, and again, to be able to comfortably support the IM. Okay. Number 3, and the biggest issue with the Trn Bax Pro, is that beryllium 10 millimeter driver. Beryllium dynamic drivers are known for their speedy, transient attack and base. This is a mushy, over-dampened mess. That's what happened. It may be a good quality driver in here, but whatever they did to the internal dampening ruined it in the bottom end, and it ruined the entire tuning. It's pillowy, it's soft, is the only 2 things that came, and not even impactful. Okay, it kills the whole tuning. Add that to a lack of definition to the bass and the mid bass to the vocals. So I'll pull up a graph here, and so I mean, at starting off about 800 Hertz, it starts this pin again, and it's really very aggressive. Right from 800 Hertz spiking up to about 2K, it climbs like, what? That is 11 dB. Huge, absolutely huge. I will also talk about graph just for a second. The reason when I was offered our group this set, and I looked at the factory graphs, they don't look like my graph, and that's a problem too. It's sort of close, but not an accurate representation of what this thing sounds like. So, and when I looked at the factory graphs, and I went, that's not bad. It doesn't look like that on an IEC 711 clone coupler, and unfortunately it doesn't sound like the factory graph. So it's a very strange tuning with that huge rise in that pin again and the extension, and then this massive dip at 7K, like not just little, like it's a cascading waterfall. Okay, sibilance dip, okay, maybe you took it too far, and then it looks like the ESTs are kicking in around 8 and give you extension to, past that to 12, 14K. Well, ESTs always have a troubles with getting enough energy into the, as used as a treble, driver, because they just don't have the output, and only 2 in this. So you get all that huge upper mids and treble energy, and you don't have any extension. Well, there is, but it's getting drowned out. And then you have that pillowy, drowning bass at the other end. And so really all you get is vocal forward shoutiness. It pushes the mids so forward that it is all you can hear, and it decently sounds good. And so some songs come on, you go, oh, this is pretty good. Yeah, this is not bad at all. And then another song will come on and you go, this is horrible. I got to take them out of my ears. And that was my entire journey of the Trn Bax Pro. The switches, kind of whacked. Like, it just didn't make sense. Where down had more bass than up. Right, that's kind of backwards. And then I'm not sure what the middle switch does, and the treble switch again. The switches don't make sense. They said there's supposed to be a card in the box. I didn't find one, or if I did, I missed it. But I looked. Overall, it's just a combination of poor design, poor tuning. Overall, internal something going on with the dampening of the driver, and it's expensive. That has completely killed the set. So take some of this feedback if you're watching TRN and do better, because at this price, you're not even competing remotely close with some stuff out there. So this is the Tone Deaf Monk. I'm out.